Hello everyone, good morning. Time for Fena, the Pirate Princess, a little later than usual, as I mentioned yesterday. There's no One Piece today, right? Nor Yamato. So, yeah, I slept a little longer. Usually I wake up for One Piece, right? Then I watch Fena. So today I slept a little longer, not that much longer, but still. The sun is up at least, so that's better lightning. But, well, I remember first anime started with this. When this anime started, the sun was up at that morning anyway, but they're getting into October now, I guess, so yeah, the sun is down less, right? But anyway, Fena, they did find, of course, the stairway to heaven, right? The classic idea of that. Which means that Eden, I guess, is up there. The one thing I say is that the weird with that, it's weird, but it depends on how you read the Bible, I guess. But in the Bible, the Garden of Eden, yeah, it's a holy place that God has, but I kind of feel that the Garden of Eden usually is on Earth, right? The humans are in heaven. Heaven's you're dead, right? So it's kind of like, it's somewhere on Earth, and then they got kicked out of it. They have to, walk the planet, right? Kind of thing, outside of the Eden. So I definitely expect the kind of Eden to be the actual island, right? Kind of the first birthplace of man, and then you would have heaven as the staircase. But it's seemingly that's Eden too, so they kind of mixing that together. I must say it's a big deal. I must say it's a little different than how we interpret the Bible, I think. Yeah, this is more like a pathway into the God's realm, right? The difference with that though is that it's a sword and dimension is from the God's realm. Its power makes more sense, right? To having like a sword you can find at Eden. If Eden is a place on Earth, right? God has maybe crafted, I suppose, versus going into actual heaven, taking God's sword. Like that feels a little more divine, right? Yeah, I suppose. Still, though, most of the heaven is a place, though. So are they gonna be maybe her mom there? I'm just throwing it out. Like, are they actually going to Eden? Like Eden is, or is it still Eden, or is it actually heaven? Though? And if they go to heaven, could you meet her mom? Maybe Joan of Arc, right? So this episode here might spin a lot. Because you might go in there and you might actually meet your dead parents or whatever. Because they're actually going into the after realm, I suppose. One last thing I say, I like the anime a lot, but I do think it's kind of stupid that, again, though, they're falling for the same thing, right? That they're being followed by the Marines, kind of in the Navy. They haven't shut it out, and they're just finding them again, just like last time. They haven't, like, put any traps behind them. Yeah, they're supposed to be ninjas, and they haven't figured out how to do that. Could at least like put some traps, in the cave when they entered, so if people were going behind them, they could hear that or something. So they're very incompetent when it comes to actual strategy. Yeah, it's a little frustrating because they're supposed to be geniuses. But anyway, let's watch the episode. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Especially happened in the thing. Yeah, they're doing the exact same mistake again. Here we are. So clearly comes Abel, the son of Adam and Eve. Yeah. So I mean, how can they fall for this same thing? And also, how did Abel and so on find the place? Maybe it's been before, I guess. But yeah, so we had Abel, was like, how did he find the... Yeah, and also, why does this kid know stuff for it? It's kind of weird. Why does Abel know the magic kind of thing? What does he know? Here we go, they enter heaven then, I guess. Yeah. Let's see if your mom is here. I mean, if it's actually heaven, right, you might meet your parents or okay, so here we go, heaven. Or Eden then. It seems to be the same thing, right? Yeah, so you walk into it. But it has to be. I expect more from Eden, right? Like, oh, it's Noah's Ark. Oh, I guess that makes so much sense. I guess, yeah, okay. Noah's Ark would be up there. I don't know, the anime is really mixing together different... It's a lot of biblical things, right? So now it's clearly Noah's Ark. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would Noah's Ark be at Eden for? Honestly. Maybe Eden is actually after Noah's Ark then. But it's kind of weird because obviously Eden is before Noah's Ark. Eden is people are born, right? Eden is the first place where Adam and Eve and the snake is the one, right? And then they leave, and become, get kicked out, right? Because they ate the apple, and, they populate the earth and so on. And Noah's Ark is way later, yeah. With the flood, right, of course. And sure, this island has a lot of water and so on. But I'm just a bit back. Wait, but why would Noah's Ark be heaven for or Eden? Like, why would that be there? Noah's Ark is taking place, is unrelated to Eden. Completely in the Bible. I mean, sure, it's in the Bible, but it's like, Noah's Ark is way later, right? After people has been, like, after the humans, you know, have kind of, it's all over the planet, but they're too sinful. So God, of course, you know, floods the planet, and only Noah's people survives right there in the Ark. That's like way later. And now the Ark is here. But maybe Eden isn't actually Eden as in the Bible Eden, but maybe it's that Noah's Ark is there after the flood, and the people are all of... Well, the Bible I guess is true, definitely. In this anime, the Bible is real. Sure it is, so... But yeah, these guys are horrible. How can they not hear this Navy coming again here? That I find annoying though. They're falling for the exact thing again, right? And why they care so much about this gold though? Or they're here to like try to save the planet or something. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, money! They finally like, wait, what happened to all the characters? Yeah, they finally like realized and they left them. And then they were so into Gald, and he just fought some kind of crypt here. He found a weapon that is in the crypt for some reason. Yeah, he's finding what they want, right? The Kusanagi, so he's finding the legendary Japanese sword. Yeah, see, he finds the Kusanagi. There was nothing here, and then they just left it in the crypt for some reason. He didn't pick it up though. This is kind of stupid though. He finds his legendary sword to pick it up. He's like, listen there? What? Why? Man, these guys are really bad at awareness. Honestly, they're kind of stupid. Yeah, they're like, what, did they leave it at 10 minutes ago? Yeah, they're really bad at actually being aware of what's happening around them. For being elite ninjas, they're really bad at... Actually... So he's finally gonna have awareness to hear them. The Marines are coming. Maybe we should say that. You could pick up the sword maybe if I did. Yeah, you could pick up the... But this guy, of course, is here for the money, so he's happy. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's here for the money, right? So he's like, yes. Yeah, everything. It's all the treasures at the same time, apparently. Yeah, all really knows everything. Yeah. Of course, he wants the money, so he's like, this is my heaven! Yeah. I guess Obelus kills him immediately. He's like, this guy wants money? Loser. We're here for the Christianity or something. Yeah. Is he actually Cain? Yeah, okay. Can't take the money, I guess. I don't know how to beats them. They are like super ninjas, and he's like a bunch of random marines with him. They don't feel it. They're very powerful. I really don't care about this fight, honestly. I want to see what happens with the Ark, right? I want to see what happens with Noah's Ark. Yeah, I want to see what that's about. I don't care too much about this fight. Pick up the goddamn God sword. He found the legendary sword that gives you powers of man, God or something. Why would you use that? It's like his whole life is to find this sword. He really feels kind of stupid. He finds the legendary katana. And he's like, oh, here it is. You can create a plan with this thing. Yeah, I can shoot them with my laser sword or something. No, I don't know. I mean, sure, he might know how it works, but still, it's like, wouldn't you pick it up and try it out before they fight them? Okay. So the plan is head-on collision. And maybe we can talk to them. I think they might try to stall or something. They might be like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Are they gonna die? I have a hard time seeing them all getting killed, but... What's his strategy? What? It's the worst strategy ever. They might have some trick or something. We have the legendary sword that can give power shields or something. Yeah, we can create like energy shields or something. It feels really weird if you start like, yeah, let's fight! Like, aren't they ninjas? Why are they like head-on collision? They're like, yeah, that's right, we're over here. What are they ambushing them for? So he's the big grenadier, which makes sense. Yeah, so they're gonna beat him up. But why did they even appear like that at the beginning with? Wouldn't they have brought up enough for that? I don't know why they even appear like that. But actually, I don't know how Abel... Oh, nice buttocks. Yeah, nice there. Some Black Widow styled... yeah, Black Widow ass style there. Yeah, definitely. It's like, gonna spin around some arm with her ass there. Yeah, very Black Widow. Very Scott Witch. Oh, Scott Johansson, yeah. Very, very... I don't get what Albert is gonna win this thing. Maybe he doesn't care. Yeah, it's like whatever. I'm Kane or something. I'm gonna leave these people. These are my decoys, I guess. His eyes turned red, right? So maybe he's possessed by the Satan or something. But it really felt like, how is this planet weakness? These guys are like superhumans, yeah. It's like about Captain America or something, you know, like 6 of them, versus normal soldiers. Like they don't have no chance. He has to know that these guys are useless, right? But yeah, he seems to really care about it. He's like, whatever. He wants to go to heaven, right? Or guard the Eden or whatever. So he gets what he wants, though. Oh, wait, so he sees hell or something? Well, you know, if this is heaven, and he wants to go with Helena, right, her mom, it would make sense that she would be up... Yeah, like I said earlier, if it actually works with heaven, if you can meet dead people up here, wouldn't that be a way to meet Helena? In that sense, his strategy makes sense, though, because he's like, if I go to heaven, I can meet Helena. Yeah, like, that actually makes sense. But... he is seemingly... Oh, this guy actually has powers or something? I mean, he's a weird character. He's like a squire kind of slave guy, but... what is he then? Like, he's turned into like a man or something, like a grown man. What? But yeah, so Noah's Ark is there. Of course, it's massive, which makes sense, because they had all the animals and so on, right? Yeah. Yeah! Sorry. Oh, goddammit. Yeah! Oh. Sorry. Reaction. You have to get that away. Sorry for that. Early morning, I believe. Early morning, God. No, I'm reached off that. Early morning. Man, I'm seeing stars like crazy. Oh, that was a powerful sneeze. Okay, now I see the reality. What? Well, because he probably emptied it. So if Abel emptied it because of hell, is it? Really weird. Why would he alter heaven or Eden if he's there? Like he's Lucifer or Satan or something, so he makes the thing turn into hell. It's like it's one bad person is there, then yeah, he turns into like, yeah, if one bad guy's there, the whole place turns into bad place. Yeah, it's really weird how it works. Like why would the whole of heaven basically collapse if what this Lucifer did something? Maybe he's a snake from the Garden of Eden. He's supposed to be the snake. Sometimes the snake is seen as Lucifer, right? As Satan. You know, sometimes the snake is seen as... yeah, certainly. So in some, you know, biblical analyzation. Oh yeah, so now he sees Helena, of course. Can't he see that it's lightning effects on? I don't know, maybe he can't see that the guard is being destroyed, but he's being there. The sun is coming up and so it's very bright now. But yeah, anyway. Maybe he can't see that the sun is like being destroyed or something when he's there. The flowers are dying because of his presence. But yeah, it's a very nice fight, of course. The anime is, of course, very high quality. So, I mean, they have a very nice, like, high quality fight there. Yeah, like, it's beautiful. Very bloody, though. Doesn't seem to care, though. Like, it's... He's possessed of some kind though. But they're not the same person. I don't know why he sees. That's Fena's dad, yeah. Oh, he wins so easily at losing one arm. That kind of plot winning there, yeah, I don't know. Like he's lost an arm, like whatever, yeah, like okay. I mean, certainly he killed Fena's dad, right? But I don't see Yukimaru as the same person, so yeah, I don't know why he's like even how he even thinks that. But yeah, of course, Fena's gonna remember now how he killed her father, little Yukimaru. Little tiny Yukimaru's there. You wanna read this now? I haven't seen what happened to Shitan's brother, you know, the older the ninjas, yeah. The super the oldest ninja, the best ninja, he hasn't come yet. He might come now here in the fight, but yeah, so he's finally getting it. You were the boy that I was fighting for, so he finally gets it right. Yeah, Mushiroi indeed. And of course he might Fena might be like, you killed my dad. It's all about Netterer. I mean, she has the power of God, right? And inside the God realm, can she like lightning bolt him? Yeah, smite him. I feel you're inside of this, yeah, the sun's very coming very bad now. But I mean, she's inside the God realm, right? Can't she just like smite him? I think she can control this. I'm feeling she has the power to control the heavens, right? And she's inside this like God divine garden Eden hell realm. Can't she just be like smite and kill him? And all the lightning bolts are flying behind them, right? I think she should lightning bolt him and smite him. The boy might appear behind him. Yeah, I feel the boy will appear, right? Because he's kind of like, maybe. Here we go, gonna smite him, as I said. But the boy's weird too, right? Maybe Mom appears now to think about it, because they're in heaven, so. This is probably Mom then, right? The white Morgan, yes. Probably Helena up come here. Here we go. Let's say, I called it! Mom's gonna come in heaven, I called it. Helena! Mommy! Yes, she's back! Mom is back! Yes, called it. Freaking call it, baby. If you call it. Of course, Mom's gonna come there. Because they're in heaven, right? Yeah, they're not in Garvin. In that sense, there's more heaven, so, yeah. Of course, Mom is alive in heaven, right? Or kind of alive, but you know what I mean. Spirit is in heaven, yeah. So I called it earlier. Maybe you and you come too then and explain what's happening to me. Or Eve or something, right? Yeah, so he's finally getting his love, but maybe this will make the heavens stop lightning bolting then. Okay, looks like his painting though. Isn't that more his painting? But yeah, I mean the whole story is really about Netterer. He's, you know, he's the Cain, right? So it's more about Netterer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, going to heaven is a way to meet Helena, right? It makes sense if he expects her soul to be in heaven, even though he doesn't really like plan it out in a good way, but he kind of like, yeah, like it's, you're gonna come there, right? The sun is coming here now. The sun is really bright suddenly. It's very, very sun suddenly in here. But again, you know, I watched the anime early in the morning, right? So yeah, and then she's the burning Helena, right? Of course, witch Helena. Oh, he's dead, I guess. Maybe he died there. Turned into his soul instead. Yeah, well, if he died there, he would turn into his soul, and of course they're already in heaven, so if you just Like it wouldn't be any difference, I suppose. But I was still wondering most about what his squire doing. The boy, right? He turned into like a man or something. Like, what is that thing? Yeah, like that is so weird. He knows like it's time, and he's like, he knows everything's happening too, right? And he has some kind of magical. Maybe he's Lucifer. I was like, what is he, right? Well, yeah. So now I have his true love here. If it's really, in my opinion, unsatisfying though that the bad guy, the crazy netto rare bad guy, yeah, is like getting his love interest. Her mom? Isn't this a weird kind of story events? He's the bad guy. He's a very dislikable character, and he's getting the love he wanted. It feels really weird. It's actually happening now. That, you know, the guy that tried to kill them like 10 times is getting what he wanted. He wins. Even if he dies, he wins by marrying her mom in heaven, kind of thing, right? So he wins, kinda. He killed her father and everything. Yeah, like it's. This seems really weird if he actually leaves with her now. And they're like together in. But I guess her mom loved him for real though. But Tessa that didn't, you know, didn't love Fena's dad or something. Fena's dad actually wasn't her dad, I guess. It was just her, you know, part of the cult or whatever. But still, he feels. Yeah, I've killed so many people to meet you. Yeah, exactly. It feels kind of weird how he's winning, basically. The bad guy here. Unless he's going crazy, I guess, but not real, right? He's obviously there. The soul world. Yeah. So this anime is actually about Abel. It should be called Fena the Pirate. Should be called Abel, the crazy netto red marine guy. Yeah, he's the main character. Okay. I mean, he's probably dead already, right? Because he lost his body. And he left his body. It's like a soul too, right? Yes. Now he's getting to be her in heaven forever. This is really weird. He's a bad guy, but he goes to heaven with his love interest? What is this anime? I'm really disliking this turn of events here. He's the bad guy, and he goes to heaven. Maybe hell then. But no. He seems to go to heaven with his love, her mom, after killing her father in front of her, and killing almost Yukimaru like twice or something. What? I mean, I guess she wanted that, because she wanted to be happy. Helena wanted him, I guess. She loved him. But still, though. He's the bad guy. I don't want to say the bad guy. He basically won. He got what he wanted. Well, now she kind of, like, destroyed his soul. I don't know. She sent him to heaven or something. His soul, like, disappeared, okay? But she must still go up to next to him anyway, right? I don't know. Maybe she lied and it's, like... He obviously died anyway. We saw him die and leave his soul, right? His body, right? So... But he still kind of got what he wanted. Man, that's like a weird conclusion that he won. Yeah. The bad guy wins? Right? And now his body's like also decomposing to spirits also, whatever. Yeah, his body burns up. Doesn't really matter that much, I mean. Well, who cares? Basically, like his soul already left it anyway. We saw his soul leaving the body anyway. So mom is like, that took care of business, honey bun! Will she explain what she's even doing here? Hey girl! Mom! Oh, okay. We have the newest orchid, honey. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, what's this feel actually have to do here? Alright, what just leaves? God damn it, Mom! Explain to me what you're doing! He's the boy pilot. Because he's really is the... Here we go. Wait, he's her dad? Okay, of course, he's a dad, right? Yeah. Huntsman, he's a dad, of course. He's alive. Yeah. He's the bad guy, right? Yeah, of course, he's alive. He's a real bad guy. Of course, it's him, right? The boy is him, actually. That's Squire boy is him, yeah. Dad is there. Doesn't make any sense, but he's there. He's the actual bad guy, right? Yeah, of course it's the father, because he's just the... Her father is Abel's king, of course. Yeah. Exactly, it's him, of course. So he's the real bad guy. Why is he working with Abel then? Yeah, Code is actually her, you know... Oh, he's the observer, that's what he is. Oh, he's Metatron? Man, yeah, but he's obviously the not the father, so he can't die because he's like an angel or something. He said he's a story maker, so he's like Metatron, God's scribe or something, so he's more an angel, right? But yeah, that's good. They did kind of. I like the cliffhanger honestly because when you saw him walking there in the forest, you're like, what is he? Like you're wondering. Yeah, he was obviously the last episode kind of guy. If you saw him in the forest, you kind of figure out that he's gonna be the secret key to what is actually gonna happen in this episode, right? Yeah, you see him walking in the forest and it turns into him. You get the the up. Yeah, he turns into a bigger boy. But why would he code that? Well, I guess it would explain why. You see, the sun is coming here. I guess it would explain why Abel knew everything too, because he's working with Cody, the huntsman observer. He killed him though. Obviously, he wasn't a real dad. We already knew that. Like he raised Fena, but we already knew that he's not her actual father. Of course, because as we saw in her mom's backstory, in her mother's backstory, the father is actually the king, right? Yeah, Abel's father. Yeah. She needed to get a baby with royal bloodline, right? That's why she was seducing, Abel and the king and so on, yeah. So we knew he wasn't the real father. He did of course raise her though for her first 10 years of her life or whatever, right? He kind of raised her since her mom died. Because as I said earlier, obviously he's some kind of the leader of the religious cult, right? Whatever. I'm the observer, but yeah, he's obviously kind of the leader of these hardcore whatever they are, super Christians or whatever it's supposed to be, yeah, godlike Christians, right? So obviously he wasn't a real father. We already knew that in episode 7, 6, something like that. But this was a weird episode. Honestly, it looks good, but it wasn't. Man, the storyline is all over the place. I feel it doesn't make any sense that Noah's Ark is there in heaven. Doesn't make any sense. Hopefully that's the next episode then. The heaven turned into basically hell when he was there. I don't know. It's like one bad soul. So was Abel supposed to be Lucifer or something? Like is Abel Lucifer, and when he enters the god's realm, everything is destroyed. He has the red eyes, right? It really reminds me of some supernatural guy. Yeah, red eye demon. You got that demonic thing going on there. And when he enters heaven, everything is corrupted or something. The fallen angel thing, but then he just kind of goes past. I don't know, it's many things to talk about. But first of all, I think this was stupid, straight up. I think this was just stupid. There we go. Time some lag. Yeah, this was just stupid. So, Shitan, he finds the Kusanagi, right? First of all, I think it's weird that Kusanagi is in the crypt for whatever reason. Like, why isn't it in heaven? Why did he leave the legendary sword just? I would say it's easy to find, because you have to actually get into the actual secret island to begin with. But it actually was just kind of displayed, yeah, it wasn't hidden at all in the actual island. I don't know why they would have this legendary magical sword just being out almost in the open. That's kind of strange. And also why it's only the Japanese sword here, not other legendary magical weapons. That is kind of weird. But anyway, that's a nitpick thing. What I don't like is the magic way. Why doesn't he pick it up? It doesn't make any sense. His whole life goal is to find the sword. His older brother, the ultimate ninja guy, tried to find the sword. Their clan's mission is to find the sword. He finally finds the sword. He's like, oh, it's here. This has to be Kusanagi. I recognize the description. This thing and this thing. This is the powers it has. Then he just leaves it there, right? I'm like, why? Why would they pick it up for? Yeah. I'm not saying you should have to necessarily use it in the fight coming in 5 minutes later, but if I find, the magical sword that I've been looking for my whole life, right? Even though he didn't care overly much about sword, but that's his family, let's go find a sword. If my great grandpa was like, this is a sword we have to find, boy, right? And then I finally find it, I wouldn't be like, oh, here's the magical sword. Amazing, I found it. And I'm like, I'm gonna leave now. Yeah, and he walks out from it. It doesn't make any sense. This was just really stupid. This, I think, was probably the worst scene in the whole anime, honestly. Because, of course, you would be like, oh, the legendary sword. You would pick it up, and it would be like, I pick it up. And necessarily would it be like, oh, the mega sword. Boom, boom, what can they do? I'll try to shoot laser beams, yeah. Necessarily wouldn't you try to use it immediately after you get it. You probably would, honestly. But you might wait to get outside the cave to kind of swing with it, because it might shoot some waves or whatever. It's like a magical sword. You might shoot some energy wave and destroy the cave. So you might wait until you get outside, certainly. And so on. And obviously he's mostly an archer guy, even though he knew how. But he knows how to use the sword. He's training in Kenjutsu as well, though. He's the primary Hanzo, right? But His role is the Hanzo. Yeah, he's an archer, Japanese archer boy, but of course he can also use a sword to a high degree, right? Like he's not like a Yukimaru is a swordman, he's a bowmaster, right? But they all have different skills in all the different weapons, right? And he's like, if Yukimaru is like A tier sword, he's like he's like an A tier, right? And Yukimaru is like S tier maybe, or maybe like A plus something. Yeah, so you know he's almost as good as Yukimaru, right? in the flashback with sword. So he also would be he's like a he's like a master, he's like a sword master, right? Yukimaru's like a grandmaster, yeah, something like that, right? So he's obviously can use a sword. He's a master sword guy, right? So I think that basically the flashback shows he's the second best sword guy, honestly, right? Yukimaru is the best. He wanted to be best at something, so he picked up the bow, right? He's the only one that could be grandmaster bow guy, so he picked up the bow because he was the greatest archer they had, right? So he was more like he was an amazing swords guy, but he picked up the bow because he was the only one that could be grandmaster in the bow, and it's good having someone with far range weaponry. So he was like, I'm gonna be the bow guy now, but I can help you, on long range, right? He was the only guy that could handle that long range because Karin, she uses the rifle, right? The rifle is more mid range. Today we can have a sniper rifle shooting the whole city, right? But back in the days, like a strong longbow, or he had the Japanese longbow thing. They have a much better range, right, than like a flint gun or whatever. Yeah, she has this kind of half-ass. She has like decent guns, right, but they're not fantastic. So her guns are not gonna go as far as at that time's best bow, right? The bow is gonna have much further range, like maybe 2-3 meters more. It's at least twice the range. So she's the mid range, he's the long range, yeah. So but anyway, so he's a very good swordsmaster too, right? Just that he's chosen to be on the far range with his bow, right? But he's the only one that can use the bow in that way, right? And of course his bows are extra big because the blacksmith guy could make super big bows no one could use except him, right? So his bow is extra good, right? Extra good range and so on. So he's very, very long range, right? And that's why he's has the bow, right? Even though he uses swords. But anyway, why would they pick it up for? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like he finally finds the weapon, yeah, and he just leaves it there. It's so stupid. I think it's one that he would like go after the sword on him. He would have it on him. The navy would come, and he would be like, should I use the sword now? And he would be like, maybe I should still rely on my bow at least the beginning because I don't know how a sword to fight with it. But that makes sense. That he would have the sword on him, right, and not use it maybe against them, not in the beginning. Then maybe if they pushed, he might be like, let's try the sword then, in close combat, right? Yeah. But certainly, if I find a magical sword, even if I don't know exactly what the magic does, it's still a sword. So if I have a bow, right, and someone gets close to me, I still would cut them with the sword, right? Because this is a sword. At the end of the day, it's a sword, right? At the end of the day, it still is a sword that you can utilize as a sword, right? So I would still, of course, use the sword and cut them with the sword, right, if they get close to me. And this guy, again, he's a sword master and a grandmaster in bow, right? So he would obviously be able to use the sword if they get close to him, if he has to. But no, he just leaves it there. He just leaves it there. Like the thing that he's been trying to find for like his whole life or something. It doesn't make any sense. They could have picked it up, right? And of course, use it later, yeah. Really dumb scene. Really stupid thing. Like he go to find it here. Anyway, they find the Loan's Ark. No explanation why it's there and nothing about it, and yeah, and then he finds Noah's Ark, yeah, like hopefully he's gonna stay next episode then. And then he's like Lucifer or something, yeah. Then Abel appears, and he's like, he's more Cain than Abel, of course, and he's like, I don't know, he's like Satan or Lucifer or Beelzebub or something. He's possessed, right? And Eden heaven turns into hell instead when he's there. And it's interesting too that when he's inside of it, he basically turned into this dark realm. He could see it too, so. I really feel like he's a snake. I mean, he's obviously supposed to be the snake, right? Of the Garden of Eden. So he's inside the Garden of Eden. The Eden turns into hell. And as I mentioned earlier, the snake is definitely seen a lot of times as Lucifer, right? Tricking Eve, right? In a lot of people's interpretation of the Bible. So it's kind of like he's the reborn Lucifer or something, or possessed by Lucifer, right? That's kind of how I see the scene. Yeah, he's coming in, red eyes. He has some kind of more. He's definitely stronger than a normal human, right? He has like magical powers, and he's kind of like transforming in the world into this hell. So I guess he's possessed by Lucifer or something. The Morning Star. That's what kind of makes sense, right? But what is really weird though, which I don't get at all, is that he still clearly hates, Fena's fake dad, right? He has the memory of this thing, killing him and so on. So he hates him as seeing as the man blocking his love from Helena. But at the same time, he's working with Cody, who is him. You could argue that he doesn't know that Cody is him, and he has the magical powers to change. He's probably some kind of angel, like a Metatron, I guess. But it doesn't make much sense because it seems that Cody was helping him a lot. So wouldn't he know that Cody has powers? Especially if it's a lot of plot to say honestly, because if Abel he's something like he's something like the possessed guy. I mean, you can't say he's just a normal human, right? Abel has powers more than humans. He has red eyes that are shiny, and he can transform the heaven sky into lightning bolts and like hell. So he's clearly not a human, right? He's clearly way past humanity. The obvious, the obvious guess is that he's like Lucifer, right? Possessing this guy, right? Yeah, he turned into Lucifer. He turned into the reincarnation of Lucifer or something like that, right? Yeah. So fine, okay. So Abel's Lucifer. This is assumed for the argument. Then Cody, his squire guy, he's like his boy next to him that he's working with, he helps him all the time. He's basically like Metatron or something, right? He's like another angel, yeah. So it feels like it's some really. It depends on what they say in this episode, but it feels like a plot hole there that how is Abel, that is turned into Lucifer, being able to work with like Metatron, not being able to see his Metatron? You know what I mean? He still hates that guy, right? He blames him for blocking him from Helena, which is true, I guess. So him working with him in that for like 10 years, you know what I mean? It doesn't make much sense because he would know that because it's one thing that this guy can transform, I suppose, but he's transforming in front of the guy that has some kind of devil eyes, right? So why wouldn't he know it? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make much sense that Abel, the guy that has turned into like Lucifer, wouldn't be able to tell that this guy is not a human. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like he clearly he has the call. He's like, I can see heaven, I can see the truth of the world. He has all this like special eye powers, right? It's kind of a nerd thing here, but clearly Abel he can see he's able to like spot that the captain guy is corrupted by this thing. He sees this as red sky, the world turns this thing. So he got like magical eyesight. He clearly has magical eyesight. Yet this guy has been working with him next to him for years. Like how did it work? How did he trick him with that? Because he has magical eyesight. Anyway, he clearly dies and leaves his body. That's pretty clear. When he falls down there, then his soul hugging Helena. And then they kind of get in there and the kiss and everything. Yeah, and he kind of gets her. But it's like a really weird scene to me. So Helena hugs him, right, and they kind of kiss. She's like, I waited for you. We're in heaven together and so on. And then the world becomes good again after she kind of pacify him. So she kind of purifies his, Satan power or whatever, right? She kind of, she kind of like purifies him from the devil, from the demon, the presence of the demons or whatever, right? In that sense, I suppose. And kind of, I guess, saves his soul. I suppose you could argue for that. But it feels like a really, really weird, unearned scene, right? It feels like a very weird anime, honestly. This anime is very Disney, but this thing was very not Disney, the ending. Yeah, this is very strange, because, like I say, I find it very dislikable, right? Very dislikable. So he's the bad guy, he's basically Lucifer or something like that. He's Satan, right? And he wins! He actually wins this anime, he wins! Doesn't mean that he actually is gonna destroy the planet, because his goal was to, smash Fena's mom, right? And she calls back to him, kinda hugs him, like, yeah, I love you too, and are we gonna be together forever in heaven? And she kinda sends him to heaven, right? Or kinda puts him into the next level of heaven. This is like limbo, whatever, yeah. This is like limbo something, yeah. Sends him to the next floor of heaven, and then she flies after him, right? So they're basically like, he got what he wanted. He walked into heaven as Lucifer, and met the woman he wanted to smash, right? Wanted to F this woman, yeah. And she agrees, they do it, and then they both just go up to heaven together. Like, how does that work? Usually you go to hell if you're the bad guy. He's basically Lucifer that walks into heaven, and she gets a pass by the woman that he just tried to like kill or his daughter. She basically killed her husband, which I guess she didn't love anyway, so that's fine, I suppose, though. But in her daughter's perspective, though, that was her dad, right? So he killed her daughter's father, which he doesn't really care about, I suppose, but still, like, if that's a daughter, care about that. Then he tried to, R her daughter, right? More than once, yeah, and trying to force her daughter to become her and so on, right? That's trying to kill her daughter's boyfriend, right? Her love interest. more than once, and so on. And, you know, basically tortured her daughter and so on, so we stand right, and put her in the kind of in the incident that killed daughter's friends, you know, sent this pirate lady after the daughter, all this stuff, right? This guy is really, really bad, right? He mostly tried to her daughter several times, right? To try to force her becoming her, right? And she's like, yeah, I love you too still. Yeah, you get my love. So in her perspective, she wanted to be with Abel, right? We kind of know it in her backstory. She was in love with him more than his father. So, like, Helena is happy, right, getting her, you know, boy toy back, I suppose. But isn't she like a horrible mom? She's basically like, oh yeah, here's the you know, abusive, you know, husband I had that kept, you know, R-ing my daughter. I'll take him back anyway. Yeah, it feels like the weirdest thing ever. Like, she's basically like accepting the man that has been, you know, abusing her daughter for like 10 years. She's like, I still love him. You know, whatever, I still love him. F my daughter. Yeah, and then he's like, Mom, what's happening here? And then Fena's like, Mom, please explain, Mommy. Like, why are we in heaven? What's what are doing here? Why is my dad alive? Mom, and she's like, see you, honey bun, and she just leaves and flies to heaven with him, bro. Yeah. So isn't she the worst mom ever? Helena's like the worst mother ever. She basically picks, you know, the guy that was like trying to R her daughter, and so on, many times, picks him over her daughter, right? Yeah, and like his, you know, she's like, yeah, that's way better. Yeah, she picks the daughter. She picks the daughter. She picks the man that R her daughter basically like twice over her own daughter. Then she just leaves. It's like, I can see you. This penalty. It's a really weird ending, and I feel so bad too, because he's the bad guy, right? Usually the bad guy, especially in the Disney movies, doesn't get what they want. Yeah, he wins, right? All but wins, so he dies, but he wanted to die to go to heaven with her. And he didn't go to heaven by, you know, being a bad guy, or being a good guy, I mean, and go to heaven. He was a really bad person. Then he like forced his way into heaven, and he killed people to get into heaven by actually, like, you know, like forcing the entrance to heaven, right, with magic powers. And then he entered the heaven, and heaven turned into hell. He's possessed by Lucifer, right? The heaven is going down in the drain. She comes in, kisses him, and then she's like, oh, okay, it's fine, honey, let's go to heaven together. And she goes to heaven with him. Like, what? It's basically like, yeah, he wins. Yeah, like, it's so weird. What is this? Oh, it's really weird. What? Yeah, he wins this thing? I don't understand. Yeah, she kisses him, right? Accepts his love. I mean, I'm sure for Helena it's a good ending, but she wanted to, you know, smash Abel, and Abel might be Fena's real dad, right? They kind of hinted to that as well, that she probably slept with both him and his father. It's ever a hint that she seduced Abel and his father. So technically, Fena might be his own daughter, right? Honestly, there might be a thing, and he's trying to R his own daughter. Maybe, right? Because, you know, yeah, like he doesn't particularly say that she has to be pregnant by his father. She says that. But, I mean, the flashback is kind of ambiguous that if you say they did it right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm throwing it out and thinking about it, because there's like several scenes in that episode when they had the flashback, with Abel's flashback with her, and, you know, they're like hugging and, you know, kissing and so on the garden, you know, and so on, yeah. So there's no reason they wouldn't actually do it, because they're not going to show the actual scene, right, in this kind of anime, very Disney anime. And then she leaves and returns later after she's been giving birth. So, you know, she's like pregnant by his father, probably. He was not right? But again, it wasn't really like crystal clear if she didn't also sleep with him, right? If she also didn't do the son, right? So he also might be Fena's dad, right? And he looks like Fena, right? He has the blonde hair and so on, like his Myrmonden too. And yeah, so, you know, he could definitely be Fena's father as well. And it's like that makes it even more, you know, complicated, right? That he was basically trying to, you know, yeah, his own daughter, potentially. And worst case, I mean, this worst case scenario is his own daughter. The other scenario is that it's his own sister, right? Yeah, because it's his half sister, right? So Fena is, of course, otherwise the daughter of his father, his immortal. So he's either trying to R his own sister or his own daughter. Like that's yeah, like it's very, you know, it's very Bible-like, I suppose. Yeah, it's very Bible, I suppose. But, you know what I mean, it's very, very crazy. This guy is effed up, right? And the mom is like, I still love him, woohoo, yeah, and they leave and go to heaven. And he told the truth. But I've killed so many people, Helena. I've murdered like 50 people yesterday. She's like, it's fine. I accept you anyway. He's like, yeah, I guess he got what he wanted, and so did Mom. And then Mom left her daughter to, I believe in you or something. Even though she never basically met her daughter. She just abandoned the daughter, but she gave birth to her. So I have no idea what she believes in the daughter for. It's some kind of weird magical power to have in their family. There's no reason she would even believe the daughter. We have no idea who her daughter is, right? She doesn't know her own daughter. Yeah, like it's kind of silly. Like, you will make the right call, honey. That you leave. So I'm gonna go and have smash your brother father character now. Ooh, yeah, wait for me. Mom gets the good ending. Yeah. Yeah, and like I believe in you, even though she shouldn't believe in you, right? Yeah, generally. You could believe in your kid anyway, but you know what I mean. She's never like met her daughter. She has like almost no memory of her daughter, right? So it's kind of cliche. She believes in her own kid for no reason whatsoever. She has no idea what her daughter actually thinks about stuff. But that's the episode, I guess. Next episode is probably the final episode. And yeah, I don't know. This anime probably jumped a while back, but it's a very weird episode. I think bad guy wins. Oh, okay, I guess.